That quiet, almost still moment when the world feels just a bit too big, and you feel like you're standing there alone. It's like walking through a crowd, yet somehow no one seems to see you. It's okay, because even in those moments, you are never truly alone. Sometimes we forget that. Even when the world feels empty, there's still someone walking beside us. Someone who understands. Someone who hears the quietest cries of our hearts. God is with you, even when it feels like no one else is. He hasn't left your side, not for a single second. And when it gets lonely, that's the perfect time to remember this. You see, loneliness is part of being human. We all face it at some point. And yes, it can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't define you. Feeling lonely doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It means you're alive. It means your heart is open, even if the connection you long for hasn't arrived yet. But listen, God sees you, even in those moments when you feel invisible to everyone else. In the stillness of loneliness, something sacred is happening. It's a time when you can hear your own heart more clearly, and if you listen closely, you'll hear Him too. In those quiet spaces, you'll begin to discover something important. You're enough, just as you are. You're worthy of love, of connection, of belonging. You don't have to earn it, you were created for it. In moments of solitude, we grow, we stretch, we deepen. We become more of who we were meant to be. When it gets lonely, don't run from it. Don't fear it. Sit with it. Let it teach you. Let it reveal the strength inside you that you didn't even know was there. Because it's in these moments that you start to understand just how resilient, how powerful, and how worthy you truly are. Loneliness doesn't last forever. It's just a season, a passing cloud, and every time it moves, the sun shines through a little brighter. Maybe you're in the middle of that cloud right now. Maybe it feels like no one truly understands you, but God does. He always has. Sometimes He allows us to experience those quiet moments, not to hurt us, but to bring us closer to Him, to remind us that He is the one constant in a world that is always changing. It's in solitude that we grow. Sometimes we feel lonely because we're waiting for something to change, waiting for someone to show up, waiting for that connection, that love, that friendship, and it feels like it's taking forever. But this quiet time is actually a gift. This is the time when you get to discover who you are, who you were created to be. This is the time when you get to reconnect with yourself, with your dreams, with your soul. You see, loneliness isn't a curse. It's not something to escape from. It's an invitation to grow closer to yourself. Because when you lean into this time, when you embrace it instead of fearing it, something amazing happens. You begin to realize that everything you need is already within you. You are enough. You don't need someone else to complete you, to validate you, to make you whole. You are already whole. You are already loved, deeply and fully just as you are. The Creator of the universe designed you with intention, with purpose and with love. And that means that even in your loneliest moments, you are never truly alone. When it gets lonely, don't shrink. Don't close off your heart. Instead, open it wider. Let the loneliness lead you into deeper connection with yourself, with your faith, and with the world around you. Because the truth is, this season of loneliness won't last forever. Just because it's dark now doesn't mean it will always be this way. The light is coming. The connections, the friendships, the love, it's all on its way to you. But first, you have to believe that you are worthy of it. And you are. You are so worthy. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. And when you're lonely, that's the time to strengthen that relationship. Learn who you are when no one's around. Learn what makes your heart beat a little faster, what brings you joy, what sets your soul on fire. Learn to be okay with being by yourself, because the moment you do, loneliness loses its power over you. You see, when you stop running, when you stand still long enough, you'll start to hear that quiet voice, the one that's been trying to get your attention. That's where your strength lives. That's where your hope is born. And you'll hear another voice too, the one that's always been guiding you, even when you couldn't feel it. God's been with you this whole time, through every dark night, through every lonely day. And I believe that sometimes He lets us walk through these lonely seasons, not to punish us, but to remind us of how much we can grow, to remind us that He is enough, and that we are enough, even when the world feels empty.